Welcome to NFL World, where info starts and ends. I'm your host, Jacob. And today we're going to ask the question that everyone's been asking. When does Micah Parsons get that contract extension? This is a two-part issue, the Dallas Cowboy part. Let's start off with Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons says he wants a new contract. But he says the Cowboys have not talked to my agent, David Mulgeta. The Cowboys know exactly who David Mulgeta is. He's represented players that played for them before. So Jerry's saying, I don't know who that is. He's lying. He knows exactly who David Mulgeta is. So Micah is saying they haven't talked to my agent. They've talked to me. The Cowboys have said they've talked to Micah, but they haven't talked to his agent. The deal can't get done unless you talk to the agent. So when you have a guy like Micah, you're looking at a contract that could be very expensive, but also very different. And the reason it's different is because Micah does so many things. It's so hard to pin down. Hold on. The camera come back. It's so hard to pin down because Micah does so many things. He's an edge rusher. He's a linebacker. He's this. He's that. And not that he's listed as a linebacker because that's what he was drafted as. So do you pay him linebacker money? Or do you pay him edge rusher money? Edge rusher money, you make more. So you could easily list him as an edge rusher and say that's his position because that's what he is. But there's a difference in money there. And because he does so many different things, it's going to be a different kind of contract because he's going to have to be one of the highest paid players. Well, Myles Garrett's the highest paid defensive end right now. He's going to want that kind of money. Even though he says, I don't want to be the highest paid, he's going to look at that number and say, okay, Myles is making this much. I at least want this much. And the Cowboys have the salary cap to do that. They have $33 million that they have right now and can save money by paying Micah. They actually save to $18 million if they pay him and structure it right. They can save up to $18 million, which will roll over into the next year. They can do that. But it's all about, do they want to do that? That's all up for debate at this time. So that Micah is sitting at this, he's saying, I'm on my fifth year option. The money's guaranteed. I'm going to make $20 million this year. So I'm waiting for them, but I know if I don't get it, I'm okay because I get $20 million because it's all guaranteed. I'm going to get it anyway. The Cowboys have to be, they can't be in the situation they've always tried to put themselves in, which is it's when, not if. Because that's what they did the last several times with big key players. They did it with Dak Prescott twice. They did it with Ezekiel Elliott. They did it with CeeDee Lamb. But it's because the Zeke Elliott and even Jalen Smith contracts that they've done, they're so worried about the dead cap implications and what that does to their future that they wait and wait and wait and wait until they can no longer pay, or they can no longer wait until they have to pay exactly what the player wants. Well, why don't you just skip that part of the waiting and then just pay him what he wants? Or at least say, okay, we don't want to pay him this, but we can pay him this. Why are they haggling over $1 million? It makes no sense. So then there's that. On that Cowboys side also, like I said, they waited so long for Zeke, and then they paid him. It was a 6-year contract. I don't know if they had him. I don't remember if they signed him after his fourth year or after his fourth year. So it might have been a 5-year, might have been a 4-year. I don't remember off the top of my head. But what I do remember was I was in high school when it happened. I was at school when he got signed because they created that deadline. It was late August. And he only played through half of that contract before they had to cut him because he was not good anymore. And they ate a lot of dead cap. Jalen Smith, same thing. They had him on a 4-year contract. He only played about 2 of it, and he got cut, and they ate the dead cap because that's what they did. And they don't want to make that mistake. I get it. But they also waited so long on Dak Prescott. Both times they've waited so long for Dak. The first time when they tried to pay him, they could have paid him at 36. They chose not to. They could have paid him at 38. They chose not to. They ended up having to pay him 40 because they waited so long and giving him and put in the contract he can't be franchise tag again, and put in the contract that he cannot be traded, and put in all these other things in the contract. Gave him everything he wanted because they couldn't wait. They waited so long they couldn't wait anymore. They had to pay him. And they did the same thing this past time in September. They waited to literally the last possible second. He was in Cleveland getting ready to play the Browns. His agent calls him and says, his agent, Todd Vance, calls him and says, yeah, deal is done. Contract's done. You're now the highest paid quarterback you get at $60 million. Because they took so long from the CD Lamb contract, they waited for CD, they waited until the last week of August or the second last week of August to really start contract talks. They waited so long for that. I guarantee you they waited about the same amount of time for Dak. And by doing that, it made the number go up. That's what they're doing. The waiting makes numbers go up. I don't know where I heard this. I think maybe it was from Pro Football Talk. Maybe it was from an NFL Insider. But they were saying there's a contract on the table. There's a contract extension on the table for TJ Watt. And that they're just waiting to hear back. The longer Dallas waits, the worse it's going to get. The price is going to go higher. So don't wait. Just do it. Get it over with. And get the salary cap relief you need now. That will roll over until next year. And that way, you can go and pay other guys to get some salary cap relief from them too. That can roll over till next year. That's what you do. But they don't want to do that. Like I said, it's a cat and mouse game. Doesn't need to be that way, but it is. But it is. So it comes down to Micah wants to get paid. The Cowboys haven't talked to his agent. Micah knows that he's in his 5th-year option. He's getting this money guaranteed no matter what. But he wants to get a bigger contract. Everyone understands that. When do the Cowboys decide to give it to him? That is the question. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear that news pick up in late June, July, or maybe even as soon as when we get to minicamp. But that's wishful thinking if I'm a Cowboys fan at this point. For NFL World, I'm Jacob Hebert. When you, at the end of the video, like, comment, share, subscribe. It's absolutely free. Helps the channel out of the time. For NFL World, I'm Jacob Hebert. Out.